It is a grim anniversary, but one NewsNation does not want to forget. Today marks 3 years to the day since the devastating train derailment that changed the lives of the residents of East Palestine, Ohio, and not for the better. On February 3rd, 2023, a Norfolk Southern freight train crashed near the Ohio-Pennsylvania state line. 11 of the train cars were carrying hazardous materials like vinyl chloride, a human carcinogen that can have damaging effects on your liver if you inhale it. Those hazardous materials were released into the air and into the water supply for East Palestine residents, and they say they've been battling the harmful side effects ever since. And it's not just chronic health issues, headaches and fatigue that have weighed on the people there. It's the fight to be heard. NewsNation's investigative correspondent Rich McHugh was on the ground after the crash and has continued to check in on residents there for the last 3 years, documenting their stories and their struggles. Rich joins us now live from East Palestine. Rich, we'd like to think things are getting better, but you're learning they're not.
No, they're not, Elizabeth. Residents are sick. The anger and the frustration runs deep here. As independent testing shows, the toxin levels are growing. They are not getting better. And a former EPA official, 38 years, nearly 4 decades, is blowing the whistle on his former agency on what the agency did not do here and what they need to do. Show of hands, how many people here are experiencing long-term health issues?
I now have asthma. I've been diagnosed with a chronic adult cough. I have a cyst on my right ovary.
I have daily headaches, the eye issues, the burning, the like the crusty eyes.
But I got stage 4 breast cancer.
3 years after the devastating train derailment, and officials in East Palestine, Ohio, burned 5 tankers full of 116,000 gallons of toxic vinyl chloride over the community.
I'm ready. Let's get out of here.
The situation here is getting worse, not better. Scott Smith, an independent testing expert, has new data about what's been left behind.
What my testing has found is repeatedly over time, the dioxin contamination has gotten worse.
Break it down for ordinary Americans, why the toxins would be getting worse.
There were 3 events. The first event, obviously, was the initial derailment and fire. The second event was the explosion, uncontrolled burn. The third event was the ongoing remediation.
Dr. Kevin Garahan is a nearly 40-year veteran of the EPA's Superfund program and an expert in contamination sites. He says the second event, the burn, changed everything here.
There was nothing controlled about it. It just seemed disingenuous to describe the emergency burn as a controlled burn.
Garahan was alarmed the EPA didn't set up an extensive monitoring program to see what chemicals were released, and that they didn't monitor for dioxins, the most carcinogenic compounds created when toxins mix.
The failure to look aggressively for the presence of dioxins, and that just seemed to me as like, a really serious problem.
And that they wouldn't work with testers like Smith, and they even tried to discredit him. Dr. Garahan contacted the EPA himself, filing a complaint with his former colleagues, including the Inspector General.
And maybe there were very good reasons for EPA doing what they did, but an investigation would reveal that.
And what did they say?
I got no response from them.
No response?
No response, yeah.
As more time passes, people here in East Palestine are getting more angry and worried.
Because a lot of us are tired of being lab rats.
It's no different than putting us inside a house fire, watching through the door and seeing what a house fire does to the human body.
People are getting sicker and people are dying. That's what this is all about. None of these residents had any of these health symptoms before the derailment.
And to distinguish this exposure from the background exposures, and
that makes sense.
This is it.
Lori and Wayne O'Connell met with Robert F. Kennedy here in 2024. Wayne now has stage 4 breast cancer, and Lori says they've been ignored.
I do have something to say to Mr. Kennedy. Make America healthy again. How about you start here?
Dr. Garahan says for this town to move forward, the EPA needs to come to terms with its mistakes.
So I'd like to see an apology from EPA and a commitment to work together with the community.
And he says by classifying East Palestine as one of the worst contaminated places in the country, the EPA can get federal funding and can implement more cleanup options.
And I would strongly recommend that East Palestine be considered for inclusion on the national priorities list of sites. There's a lot of contamination. You have extremely toxic chemicals that are present. They are showing up in the environment, and there are exposure pathways that could harm community members.
It's not just, the long-term illnesses. People are dying, Rich. I didn't know if 3 years later I was going to be watching people drop dead.
We asked the EPA to respond to Dr. Garahan's points. In response, they gave us this statement. I'll read it. Since day one, the Trump administration has prioritized EPA's role in responding to emergencies, including East Palestine. In his first official trip, Administrator Lee Zeldin traveled to East Palestine, Ohio, with Vice President J.D. Vance to mark the 2-year anniversary of the train derailment. We will work to ensure the health and safety of the people of East Palestine. But first and foremost, Elizabeth, residents here say they need long-term health monitoring. They're not getting it, and that they're getting no federal assistance whatsoever. Back to you.
Yeah, it's one thing to promise you'll do everything you can, yet another to deliver. Rich McHugh, great reporting yet again. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.